If you can recall, we had a bit of a problem with this front bushing in the injector pump, and when we put a long bar on it, you can probably see how much it's wobbling. It's about 4 millimeters on here. So what we've done is we've got another pump. We're going to fit another pump, but before I put the belt on and things like this, I'm going to put this jig back on, and then we're going to test it against a new one, and we should get some. It should be nice and tight. So let's see how that goes. So I missed out the stage about putting the bar on because it had about 1 millimeter over a length of this long, so that was good. And so the conclusion of all this, if you can see and keep an eye on down here at the bottom pulley, because this is where it was a trouble. Can you see the belts on there now? I've turned it over a few times. It's not running forward. So it would have run before, on 2 turns of the engine, it would have run forward. So I think we've sorted that out. I'm just going to give you sort of a bit of a quick tip as well about fitting a timing belt, because sometimes they're really tricky. But there's a little technique I'll show you. Right, so first of all, grab hold of your pulley, put it onto there, shove it on there like that. You put your locking nut on, but don't fasten it down yet. Just wiggle that and make sure it goes into the recess. This has got like a shoulder to go in, so just make sure that's in. And then get your Allen key, put the bolt in at its lowest point. Now obviously you've got your pump pinned up, your flywheel pinned up, and this is on its mark here. Tighten it up, or just nip it with your fingers like that, that's all it needs, and then take this one off again. Easy, isn't it? Because everybody's trying to struggle on getting it over this tension here. If you do it like this, it's a bit easier. Take that off and that'll stay in the same place. Get your belt, put it in the pulleys. And then work out where all this loose is here. Now that moved a little bit, so we want to move that back. One tooth, it jumped a tooth. See, the thing is I haven't got the head on, which is a bit annoying. And also I forgot to undo these bolts of here. Alright, so that will move a little bit. Line your pulley, line your mark up there, keep your crankshaft there, and then push this belt all the way around, like that. Now you see that moved a little bit, but it's still in line. This hasn't moved on the pump timing, the crankshaft hasn't moved. Get your pulley, pull your belt back, put your pulley on like that. That up a bit. Now I'm not doing the torques and things like that yet because we've done all of those already. This is just to explain how to do the pump. And then, how to do the belt side. Take this off, move up your tension to whatever it should be, 11 Newton meters on your dial gauge or whatever. But I'm just doing this quickly just to show you how there's a quicker technique to do it. And that's it. And then you're not fighting with the pulley belt round here. Pull it down here, push this one on, doddle in it. Anyway, I hope you like that bit. So we're happy with the pump, that's running better. So now we seem to know that just a few thousandths of an inch on these pump bearings will pull the belts off. There's one for me as well, I didn't know that. So I'm going to just put this on temporarily. I'm happy with this now. The next job is to put the pistons in and the other bits and pieces. So, we'll talk to you later. Bye now.